In this video, we're going to show you guys how to create a new domain in Windows Server 2025 with the best practices, static IP, DNS done right, and the choices that can help to future-proof your system. So we're going to start on Windows Server 2025, which is already set up and installed. If you'd like to see a video on how to install and activate Windows Server 2025, we'll leave a link for the tutorial right here. All right, guys, so we are building a brand new Active Directory forest, and this server becomes the domain controller. That means that it's going to handle authentication, policies, and identify everything on our network. All right, so we're here inside of our server manager. The very first thing we're going to recommend is to rename the server first. So to get to this, we're going to hit our start menu. Let's open settings. We can also hit Windows key together with I. And here we have our system. If we click on About at the bottom, here we can type rename this PC. So I'm just going to call this December demo. I'll press next, and it's going to prompt us to restart. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll see you guys back in just a sec. All right, so we're back on our server. There's a few reasons we changed the name first. The biggest reason is just to save yourself a headache in the future. Renaming the server after it's promoted to domain controller can create some weird metadata issues and potential unnecessary headaches. So the naming convention is going to matter for scale, troubleshooting, and or audits. The next thing we're going to do is set a static IP. So from our server manager, which again, we can access this at any time, it's either pinned in our start menu like it is for me right here, or we could search for it, server manager, and I'll go ahead and open this up. Let's go to local server. And then we'll click on our Ethernet or our internet connection right here. And that'll bring us straight to our control panel to the network connections area. From here, we can double click into Ethernet and let's hit properties. We'll double click again into Internet Protocol version 4. Now, by default, it will say obtain an IP address automatically. And same thing for DNS server. So we'll enter our static IP, our subnet mask, and our default gateway. Just a reminder, at any time we can use our command prompt and use the command ipconfig. That's going to show us what our IPv4 address is, our subnet mask, and our default gateway. If you aren't sure what to set your static IP to, you could select a static IP that is within this network here, and then this will always return your subnet mask and default gateway as well. Okay, and then we'll set our DNS server as well, and we'll press OK. So the whole reason we're doing this, if the IP address changes later, clients won't be able to find the domain reliably, and the DNS can get messy fast. So we always want to have a static IP. For DNS, we can point to the domain controller itself because it's going to host DNS for the domain. So if I go back in here, we can point this again to the IP address of our host server itself, which would be 192.168.1. And I can literally just put the same thing as the IP address, and I'll press OK. All right, so we've got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and confirm our time and updates. Let's go back into settings now. That's Windows key and I. We're going to have a setting here called time and language. And then here we can adjust our time zone. We could also set the time automatically if we have location services turned on. I just have my time zone set to central, which is correct for me. And then while we're here in the settings as well, we would want to go ahead and run our Windows update. You can see that we have some updates to run. I'm going to go ahead and install the recommended updates and restart this as soon as I'm done making this video. All right, so once we've done that, the next thing we have to do is install our Active Directory domain service role. Now, again, from the server manager, let's go up to Manage to the top right, and we'll click Add Roles and Features. This brings up our Add Roles and Features wizard. We'll click Next from here. We're going to leave this as a role-based or feature-based installation. We'll press Next again. Now we want to select our server from the server pool. Press Next. And then from here, let's click Active Directory Domain Services. We want to make sure that Include Management Tools is checked. We do want that. We'll click Add Features. And then if DNS server doesn't auto-check, we're going to check that as well. And we'll also include the management tools. Let's go Next again. For the features, there isn't anything that we have to change here. We'll click Next on the AD/DNS page, click Next on the DNS server page. I'll check to restart automatically if required, and we'll press Install. All right, so we'll go ahead and close this menu down. And we're actually now ready to promote our server to domain controller. You can see in the notifications area up here, we've now got this post-deployment configuration notification. So this brings us to the Active Directory Domain Services configuration wizard. We're going to add a new forest. So that is the goal here. This is a new domain controller. And from here, I can specify the root domain name. I'll add our website, indigosoftwarecompany.com, and I'll press Next. For best practices, we recommend against using .local. It can cause some certificate and other cloud integration issues now, even though this used to be the standard. I'm going to leave both function levels here at Windows Server 2025. I'm going to leave the default options checked here as well. That's domain name system server, DNS server, and global catalog. We're also prompted to type a directory services restore mode or DSRM password. I'll enter my password here and let's press next. You might see a message here about DNS delegations. I just X mine out. This is normal for most small business environments and it is safe to continue. Let's press next. We're now going to be assigned a NetBIOS domain name. So unless we have a specific naming requirement here, we can hit next on this. For the paths, we're going to leave this default unless we have dedicated disks/paths. Here we can preview our selections, make sure everything is good. And then next up, we have some requisite checks. This is basically the system verifying our configuration. If it passes, which it did, we can restart the server and it's going to restart as domain controller. Now we're going to be able to verify this in just a second. Let me go ahead and click install. All right, so our computer has just finished restarting and we can see our NetBIOS name right here is telling us that the server has successfully been promoted to domain controller. So let's go ahead and log in with our credentials. All right, so we're going to verify our Active Directory tools and we also want to check our DNS health. So if I go to tools, we've got Administrative Center, Domains and Trusts, module for Windows PowerShell. We have sites and services and users and computers. So that's good. We can go ahead and move on to DNS. We want to make sure that DNS has the forward lookup zone for our domain. So on our screen in the left-hand navigation pane, let's open DNS. We're going to type our start key and let's type DNS. We want to open the app that's DNS. So bring up our DNS manager and then we can expand under our forward lookup zones. Let me just drag this out so you guys can see. And under here, and then if we drop down the folders below our forward lookup zones, we have our domain and then we have this one here. We want to see things like sites, TCP, UDP, forest, DNS zones. These SRV records are how clients and servers locate domain services. Seeing this is a good sign that our Active Directory DNS integration is working properly. All right, so before we put this into production, there are a few next steps that we would recommend doing. Number one is to create a second domain controller. One domain controller is a single point of failure. Two is generally considered the minimum for real environments. Number two would be to configure proper time sync. Number three is to create organizational units and delegate properly. Number four would be baseline GPOs. These are things like password policy, logon policy, etc. And then finally, we would want to configure backups. We have videos on these other topics, and we'll leave some of those in the description below if you want to watch some specific Windows Server 2025 tutorials. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you have any questions about anything we went over, feel free to drop those in the comments below, and we'll get back with you as soon as we can. If you're interested in purchasing Windows 10, Windows 11, remote desktop licenses, Windows Server, Microsoft Office, or a wide variety of other Microsoft software at a great price, be sure to check out Indigo software. We'll have all those links down below. As our channel continues to grow, we're constantly looking for new video topic ideas. If you have any ideas of your own, we'd love to know what those are. Most viewer commented requests get made into actual videos on the channel. Lastly, a like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated as it helps to support our channel. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys next time.